No charge sheet, no evidence and no chance to defend himself. A retired Indian Navy commander working in Iran and abducted by Pakistan's intelligence agency ISI and now has been sentenced to death by a Pakistan military court. For the past 1 year, India made 13 attempts to get consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav, all rejected by Pakistan.
Not a shred of evidence, no formal trial, yet a man is sentenced to death. That's the shocking truth of Pakistan's military judicial system. Indian businessman and a former Indian Navy officer, Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav, has been sentenced to death without a fair trial by a Pakistan military court. A military court passed the sentence, which has been confirmed by Pakistan's Army Chief, General Qamar Javed Bajwa. Pakistan has accused Jadhav of being an agent of the Research and Analysis Wing, arrested during a counter-intelligence operation in Balochistan. The Pakistani military court ruling came even as Pakistan's top diplomat Sartaj Aziz admitted they did not have conclusive evidence against Kulbhushan Jadhav. In a hard-hitting response, India warned Pakistan against sending Jadhav to the gallows. New Delhi said it was clear that the trial was a farce and no norms of law and justice were followed. India has said if Jadhav is hanged, it will be premeditated murder. Not only has India not been given consular access to Jadhav since his arrest in March last year, but the High Commission wasn't even informed of a military court-martial.
I'm only hoping that this is at the moment merely a sort of dabav, an act of pressure, and that eventually this is a matter the two governments will have to discuss and decide. We have never done any such thing, and it seems completely horrific.
In Mumbai, Kulbhushan Jadhav's friends, relatives and associates are both shocked and angry.
जब हमें पता चला कि न्यूज़ में 1 साल पहले, तभी हम सब दोस्तों ने यहाँ कैंपेनिंग भी की थी और भारत सरकार को उसी दिन वही टाइम पे हमने गुहार लगाई थी कि भाई जो सरबजीत के साथ हुआ वो शायद इनके साथ भी कर सके पाकिस्तान.
It is now feared that the Kulbhushan Jadhav case may just go the Sarabjit Singh way. The sentencing by a military court and not a civilian one has shown that the all-powerful Pakistan Army is once again calling the shots. With Kaswar Klasra in Islamabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
In a desperate attempt to get their voices heard, Tamil Nadu farmers staged a naked protest near Prime Minister's office. These farmers have been protesting at Delhi's Jantar Mantar for the last 28 days, seeking drought relief package for the state. Take a look at this detailed report.
On your screens are shocking images of Tamil Nadu farmers protesting nude at the heart of the national capital. Angry and disappointed with centre. These farmers staged a bizarre nude protest at the North Block near the Prime Minister's office. All this in a desperate attempt to highlight their plight.
இப்போ நான் கூட இங்க வந்துட்டேங்க வீட்ல போய் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரம்மாவை மிரட்டிருக்காங்க நிலத்தை ஏல விட்டுறோம் கடனை கட்டுறீங்களா இல்லையா அவனு போய் மிரட்டிருக்காங்க
To seek centre's attention, to get their voices heard, just to meet their long pending demands. From going naked in the scorching heat to rolling on the roads of the national capital. In the last 28 days, these farmers have resorted to most bizarre ways of agitation. Be it protesting with skulls, rats, ropes, dead snakes or even getting their heads shaved off.
For the past 28 days, we are sitting in the street, in the Jantar Mandar road. We are sleeping in the road. We are eating in the road. It is a democracy country. It is an agriculture country. We are the backbone of India. But the Prime Minister Ramesh yes, 400 farmers died in Tamil Nadu.
The opposition has lashed out at the Palanichami government for neglecting farmers' plight.
What we feel is, after all these 28 days, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has not even come forward to meet them or to convince them or to console them or to coordinate with the central government on behalf of them.
Tamil Nadu has been in drought, the worst drought it's seen in 140 years. And this time the farmers came all the way from the Kaveri belt, sat at Jantar Mantar and refused to go until the Prime Minister takes notice and takes action. With camera person Pradeep Kumar, Shalini Lobo in Delhi for India Today.
The BJP is in a tight spot after a candidate it projected as a slum dweller turned out to be a crorepati. Sunita Kaushik, who was reportedly selected by Delhi BJP chief Manoj Tiwari, owns 2 houses and jewellery worth over 7 lakh rupees. The BJP's opponents have accused the party of misleading Delhiites.
A slum dweller in Delhi, now BJP's candidate in civic body pose.
कुछ भी काम नहीं किया उन्होंने पहले, यहाँ आके देखता भी नहीं कि भाई हमारी यहाँ झुग्गियों में कोई भी आके नहीं देखता कैसे रह रहे हैं। बीजेपी सुनती है, बीजेपी जो कहती है वो ही करती है।
The Saffron Party giving power back to the downtrodden. But is it really? Sunita Kaushik, handpicked by Delhi BJP chief Manoj Tiwari during his visit to a slum. She's not really a slum dweller, but a crorepati. With 2 houses worth over 90 lakh rupees and jewellery and cash worth 8 lakh rupees. When confronted, Kaushik was evasive, completely forgetting how she had projected an impoverished image just a week ago.
आप ये बताइए कैसे आप जीतेंगी चुनाव, कैसे चुनाव लड़ेंगी, क्योंकि चुनाव लड़ने के लिए आज के समय में तो पैसे की ज़रूरत देखी जाती है।
हाँ जी पैसे के हमारे जो ऑटो वाले भाई हैं पूरा सहयोग कर रहे हैं हमारे लिए, और जो हमारी यहाँ की लेडीज़ हैं वो कोठियों में ये जाती हैं और वहाँ पे प्रचार करेंगे हमारा, और पूरी तरह से सहयोग कर रहे हैं। ये जो अपने मेरे साथ क्या नाम इनके गांव के साथ में जो झुग्गियां हैं मैं उनके साथ ज़्यादा वक्त बिताती हूँ। एक सोशल वर्कर हूँ मैं, और उन्हीं के साथ ज़्यादा टाइम बिताती हूँ, उनके दुख में सुख में उनके साथ रहती हूँ उनके। मेरी कर्म भूमि है जी, यहीं काम करती हूँ मैं।
Residents of the slum mirrored Kaushik's stand, although it could not be explained why she was shown as a slum dweller before.
वो हमारे साथ हर दुख सुख में रात दिन लगे रहते हैं, हमारे साथ रहते हैं। कभी भी हमें आज तक महसूस ही नहीं हुआ जो हमसे अलग हैं तो हमें किस बात की दिक्कत होगी।
The Aam Aadmi Party has fresh ammo to attack the BJP.
एक अकूत संपदा वाली महिला को आपने टिकट दिया इस नाम पर कि वो झुग्गी झोपड़ी किया, और ये तो एक मामला सामने आया है, न जाने कैसे कितने ऐसे मामले होंगे जहाँ पे इस प्रकार की बातें निकल के आ सकती हैं। तो बड़ा सवाल ये है कि अब दिल्ली की जनता माननीय तिवारी जी पे कैसे विश्वास करे, या क्यों न माने कि पैसे के लेन देन के बाद जो ये सारी टिकटें बांटी गई हैं।
It remains to be seen whether BJP will stand by its candidate or take action for alleged misrepresentation. With Kapil Mishra, Pankaj Jain and Ankit Yadav, Bureau Report, India Today.
Shifting focus to the politics of cow slaughter, it's become one of the biggest political flashpoints in the country. Following closely after the brutal lynching of 50-year-old Pehlu Khan by self-styled Gaurakshaks in Alwar, the RSS chief has called for an end to violence by these so-called saviors. At the same time, he's demanded a nationwide ban on cow slaughter. The RSS Supremo's opinion has ruffled quite a few feathers. Take a look at how the politics of cow slaughter played out today.
Black flags and chants of Go Back Bhagwat. This was the scene awaiting RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat at Patna airport just days after he demanded a ban on beef across India.
गाय को बचाने जाए और उस प्रयास में और कहीं पर किसी के मन को ठेस पहुंचे, धक्का लगे, हिंसा हो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए.
The RSS chief's attempts to balance out the issue of cow protection surely didn't impress the opposition.
They're following this kind of a divide and rule policy, and that kind of a role which he contemplates will actually divide the country. It will create anarchy in the country, and that will have a law and order question every day.
बीजेपी खुद नॉर्थ ईस्ट में कह रही है जब आइंदा साल इलेक्शन जा रहे हैं कि वहाँ पर वो काउ स्लॉटर के खिलाफ कोई बिल नहीं लाएंगे. तो ये हिपोक्रेसी क्यों है लोगों की? काउ के नाम पर अब तक मोदी सरकार की हुकूमत में 9 से ज़्यादा मुसलमानों की हत्या हो चुकी है.
Unfortunately, when you have a government which is totally infiltrated, co-opted by the RSS chief thinks that he is the framer of this law. This government has abandoned its responsibilities. It has installed RSS advisors in every post right from the top to the bottom.
But Bhagwat's cry for a nationwide ban on cow slaughter won huge support on the other side of the spectrum.
केवल गौ धार्मिक दृष्टि से नहीं बल्कि आर्थिक दृष्टि से भारत की अर्थनीति कृषि पर आधारित है और कृषि डिपेंडेंट है गौ पर. इसलिए गौ माता के ऊपर, गौ के ऊपर ये कानून होनी चाहिए, पूरे देश में बंद होनी चाहिए.
कोई भी देश की सभ्यता संस्कृति होती है, भारत की ये पहचान है, भारत का ये चिंतन है. इतना बड़ा समाज कभी भी कोई बड़ी प्रतिक्रिया नहीं करता, लेकिन अंदर उस दर्द को, उस पीड़ा को अनुभव करता है.
Government of India should move towards enacting a nationwide ban on cow slaughter.
जब गौ की हम रक्षा की बात करते हैं तो कुदरती तौर पे उसके साथ हमारी आस्था जुड़ी हुई है, जो हमारी संस्कृति जुड़ी हुई है.
गौ रक्षा के नाम पर.
While the BJP has been selective on where it's pushing for a beef ban, the RSS is clearly not satisfied. Nothing short of a nationwide ban will do for the RSS. With Supriya Bharadwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Just 2 days before the RK Nagar by-polls, Election Commission has cracked the whip, cancelling the polls to Amma's bastion. After a massive income tax crackdown found a whopping 89 crore rupees from different leaders of Shashikala faction, including the Tamil Nadu Health Minister Vijay Bhaskar. Amma's legacy was on sale for a mere 4,000 rupees for each voter in the constituency. As top Tamil Nadu ministers are being quizzed by the Income Tax Department, take a look at how Jayalalitha's legacy now stands sullied.
We have the names of serious leaders of AIADMK, certain ministers, Sengotian, Dindikal Srinivasan, Thangamani, SP Velumani, even the Finance Minister Jayakumar, and the number 2 in the list is Edappadi K. Palaniswamy. Well, this is a section, there is a section of voters in here, all depending on RK Nagar. Then you have the vote percentage, which comes to 85%, and the amount, the last column that shows the amount, that is the issue now, that comes up to 89 crores 65,080.
After this India Today report, the Election Commission acted, postponing the RK Nagar by-poll after documents accessed by us suggested that huge sums of money were disbursed to various accounts to be used for bribing voters. Documents recovered allegedly in the IT raids on Health Minister and Dinakaran loyalist C. Vijay Bhaskar. The documents took the murmurs of the last few weeks to a crescendo when videos surfaced of money being distributed. Some even have voters admitting on camera to taking bribes.
IT has given certain information. I don't know. It is only based on the right from Honorable Vijay Bhaskar. In no way it is connected with RK Nagar constituency. In no way. They have raided that they have got some money from his native. It is far away from Chennai. In what way it is going to affect together? I will, with our cadres, we will win in the battle.
The irregularities capped by violence. Fresh clashes between the OPS and EPS camp left another injured in RK Nagar. Was there any other option then but to delay the poll?
நாலாயிரம் கொடுத்தாங்களா? யார் ஓட்டு போட சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க? இருங்க ஒன்றியா யார் ஓட்டு போட சொல்லி கொடுத்தாங்க? யார் வந்து கொடுத்தா? குட்டியா? சரி.
Who is the brainhead of all these activities? Mr. TTV Dinagaran, who is the candidate over there. So he should be arrested and FIR should be filed over him and he should be taken into custody.
Bribery allegations, bloody fights, bizarre campaign rituals. And now the polls being postponed. Already the fight for Amma's seat and her legacy has been irretrievably tainted. Should there be a CBI inquiry to find out who's responsible? With Akshaya Nath, Akshita Nandgopal and Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's time to wrap up this bulletin, but we leave you with some interesting visuals. Prime Minister Modi and his Australian counterpart Malcolm Turnbull took the Delhi metro today on the Australian PM's first official visit to India. The leaders then visited Delhi's Akshardham temple on the banks of the river Yamuna, where they posed with gardens.